Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. I want to give you a current news update, but also speaking a little bit from my heart because there's so much happening in the world, in this region, and also here in Israel for the past week. I went to bed crying. I'm gonna go back to that soon. But then I also started crying when I woke up because I want to show you this beautiful, beautiful young Jewish mother of 3 children, and being pregnant with her 4th child, was on the way to the hospital in Samaria yesterday, in labor, on her way to the delivery room, when Palestinian Arab terrorists shot at her vehicle, and according to reports also from the media, lasers were used to blind the driver of this vehicle, and then shots were fired into this vehicle. And this beautiful young Jewish mother, her name is Tzela Gatz, maybe I pronounced it wrong, I'm sorry, was brutally murdered. So here is a family, a young Jewish family, living in the biblical heartland of Judea and Samaria, mother of 3 children, being pregnant with the 4th child. It was actually a baby boy. I wonder if they knew it was a boy when they were setting up the nursery. And she goes into labor, and it's like, it's time, we need to go to the hospital. So the 3 babies, the 3 other children are home, saying goodbye to mom and dad, excited about this new baby that's gonna come into the world. And they kiss their mom and dad goodbye. And they get into their car, and she is brutally executed, killed in her car, for no other reason than being Jewish, living in the biblical heartland of Israel. So as she is brutally killed, the hospital staff did an emergency C-section, and a baby boy came into the world after her mother was brutally murdered. And that child was later moved to a children's hospital, and they were fighting for his life all night. And now they are saying it's still a serious situation, but according to the latest report, his condition is stable. The father, the driver of the vehicle, mother and dad, husband and wife, on their way to the delivery room, he was also lightly injured. He was released this morning with the baby in the hospital. He is now released, going home to his other 3 children, and they have to plan the funeral of this beautiful young woman who was heinously slain, brutally murdered for being Jewish, living in the biblical heartlands. So it's a very, very painful day here in Israel. It's a devastating day, and I'm sending my deepest condolences to this family. I pray that you will just surround them in your prayers. May her memory forever be a blessing. May she rest in peace, and may God comfort the mourners of Zion, comfort this family. Please, please keep them in prayers. And like I said, a funeral is now gonna take place. A few days ago, I was on the bus coming back from France Hill. I have been out visiting this elderly lady, like my Jewish grandmother. And I, instead of changing to the light rail, I stayed on the train. Instead of changing to the light rail, I stayed on the bus. And I was going through one of the religious areas in Jerusalem, and I saw a lot of these young Jewish mothers with all of their children running around playing, and it just made me smile and say, wow, you know, prophecies are fulfilled. The Jewish people are home in their God-given homeland, the covenant that God made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So I was just smiling as I was sitting there passing by in the bus. So I came home earlier in that day. A hostage has been released Edan Alexander, the last remaining American living hostages, had been released, and we were happy about that, and you know, we were really excited about that. Hearing the horror stories of how he was starved and tortured in a brutal Hamas captivity. So I'm coming home and it was hot and I was sweaty, and I'm just being honest here. I was cooking chicken and vegetables in my skillet. I took off my dress. I was just wearing underwear and some leggings, and I could hear my phone was giving a notification, but it does that all the time. I didn't pay attention. I was cooking at my stove. All of a sudden, I hear the red alert. And then I knew, are you serious? We are now under ballistic missile attack. And here I am, not wearing a top, just underwear, because normally I grab my phone and I ran out on my balcony and I make videos. But I was so perplexed because I was also trying to make sure my food was not burning on the stove. I wanted to run out and make videos, so I was a little... So once again, the wild Houthis was firing a ballistic missile at Israel. So I just put my hand out and just filmed out on my balcony. But then the sirens didn't stop. They just continued. It doesn't work. Normally they slow down, and I continue to get notification on my phone. And I was like, wow, you know, this is major. So yes, the Houthis fired a ballistic missile. They were aiming at Ben Gurion airport again, and it was shot down by the Israeli Defense Forces. Then I went to bed and I woke up yesterday morning early, and around 7:40 a.m. I got the notification on my phone from the Home Front Command, an early warning, missile alert warning. In a few minutes, the sirens are gonna go off. You need to go and seek shelter. So I rushed out of bed, just put on some clothes, shared on my social media that we are now under missile warning. And then the red alert went off here in Jerusalem also. So I went out and I said, it's not even 8 a.m. in the morning, and here we are on the missile fire. The Houthis are firing at us again, and surely, yes, they did. And there was actually another missile that they also fired, but it didn't reach. So far, it fell. So that was actually three ballistic missiles that was fired from Yemen in 12 hours. And on top of that, Islamic Jihad fired 3 rockets from Gaza at Israel also. 2 was shot down and 1 landed in an open area. And then later I saw that, oh my goodness, while I was sleeping, there had been an earthquake in Greece, and that was felt throughout all of Israel. I was sleeping, so I didn't feel it. I didn't wake up, but I know a lot of people did also here in Jerusalem. So literally in less than 18 hours, 3 ballistic missiles from Yemen, 3 rockets from Gaza, and an earthquake here in the Holy Land. So what do you do? I mean, when that red alert was blasting and I was standing here only in underwear and I couldn't run out on my balcony, I looked out and I saw these boys. They have probably been, 9 years old, and they are walking out here on the sidewalk and the parking lot over here, and they have red alert, and where are they gonna go? And that's reality here. You know, one night I'm standing cooking and you have the wild Houthis who's trying to murder you, to kill you, and you're cooking dinner. And then what? What are you supposed to do? Are you just gonna say, oh, okay, that's it, and then you continue eating? And the next morning, oh, okay, so you could just continue your everyday life. You know, you have to drop everything and run for shelter. So that's the reality here in Israel. So it's very, very traumatizing. It's unbelievably traumatizing. Unless you live here, you don't know. As I'm going to sleep yesterday, as I'm lying in bed, and I can just feel how my body is traumatized beyond words. People are asking, are you okay? No, I'm not in any way like everybody else in this country. Ask my body. The reason why I cried before I fell asleep last night was because all of a sudden I see a story about a young police officer who on October 7, when he saw what happened, he grabbed his weapon and he drove down south, and he came past a vehicle where there were 2 killed soldiers, and he see 3 terrorists. He's coming up behind them, they don't see him, and he killed these 3 vile Hamas satanic terrorists. And he continues south and he engaged again with several terrorists. He left his wife and 3 young daughters, and he's fighting all of these savages down in the south and all of these terrorists, and watching the horrors that unfolded that day, which is so traumatic. I mean, you can't imagine the trauma people are carrying in this country, especially our soldiers, our police officers, our paramedics, our doctors, our nurses, and all of those. So I'm reading about all of that yesterday, just to see that it all became too much. And this young police officer took his own life. And now there's this young widow and 3 small girls who don't have their father because of all the traumas he endured. So that really, really made me cry last night. And then broke the news that there has been this horrific terror attack with this couple. And at that time, you know, she was severely injured and brought to the hospital. So it was just all too much. And I had also, you know, been deleting, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of wild comments about death to the Jews, burn the Jews, Hitler was right, and death to me, and all of that. And then I woke up this morning and the horrible news is coming that this beautiful young woman, mother of 3, who was on the way to the hospital to give birth to her 4th child, a baby boy, was brutally murdered by Palestinian Arab terrorists for no other reason than just being Jewish. So it's not easy. It's unbelievably traumatizing. And like I have said again, if you don't live here, you don't know. And in the midst of the Jews are the one being attacked and murdered over and over again and over and over again, and having the most moral army who is sending warnings to the people in Gaza before they carry out attacks. I have to see that the mayor of Amsterdam, Netherlands, and the prime minister of Spain is out calling Israel carrying out genocide in Gaza, and Israel is a genocidal nation, when the Jewish people are the one being attacked. So the world has really, really lost its moral compass. I have spoken about that for so many years. I just went through my memories on Facebook, and 4 years ago, some people think that, oh, okay, so it was peaceful before October 7, the onslaught on October 7. Are you serious? I have lived here for 11 years. I have made thousands and thousands of videos speaking about rocket attacks, shooting attacks, stoning attacks, axe attacks, machete attacks, ramming attacks, and rocket attacks. And 4 years ago, we were under full-blown attack with Hamas sent over 800 rockets into Israel, and a man in the area of Tel Aviv was killed when a rocket hit his house. That was 800. So every day when I look through my memories on Facebook, I have reported that year of a stoning attack, a shooting attack, or rocket attacks, because the Arabs, whether they are living in Gaza or out in Judea and Samaria, they have one goal, and that's the murder of the Jewish people. There's no difference by the terrorist who is living in Gaza and all the terrorists who is roaming free out in Judea and Samaria, where they can roam free because there is no checkpoints. They have been removed. So these terrorists are roaming free in the streets, especially in the northern part of Samaria and around the terrorist nest of Jenin, which I have been speaking about for years and years. So the IDF now, of course, there's a manhunt on the way, and they have been doing a massive anti-terrorism terror operation out in Judea and Samaria. For people who don't know, so many terrorists out in, especially in Samaria, who want to do what Hamas did on October 7. That's how they have been planning and scheming to attack Jewish communities in Samaria, especially. And now look what happened. A beautiful young mother on the way to give birth. It doesn't get any more horrid. It doesn't get any more demonic evil than that. So please pray for this Jewish family as the funeral is taking place now, and this young man is sitting now with a toddler, an infant, who is still in the hospital, taking out of the womb of his dead mother, for crying out loud. So united we stand with Israel. Me and my house will always stand with Israel as long as I'm here. At least that's 5 more months. I will continue to stand with Israel and speak with Israel, and I really want to encourage you to follow my Telegram channel. I am so tremendously limited because I've been reported by all of the Israel haters on my Facebook. So Facebook has limited who is allowed to see what I do, and I share so much on my Telegram channel. If you follow me on Telegram, there's an option of mute. Don't leave my channel if there's too much, just mute it and check in once in a while. But that is the place where where it's easy and there's no censorship. But this video goes out on all my social media. So rocket attacks from Gaza, ballistic missile attack from Yemen. The wild Houthis are still firing at us. We are waiting for the IDF. They have sent 2 evacuation notices to the 3 harbors, ports in Yemen, but so far they didn't attack. So we are all waiting for them to do that. And then we still continue to have these horrific terror attacks where yet another Jewish family is ripped to their souls are ripped out, shattered to the core, because now this beautiful young woman was heinously murdered last night on the way to the delivery room. So thank you for following all my social media. If you want to make sure to continue to see them, you need to like and share. I never say that, but please like and share out my videos for the world to hear all of these things that you don't hear in mainstream media. And me just standing here in my apartment in Jerusalem without all the gadgets, with all the light and co-workers and setup and studios and all of that, but simply just me speaking from my heart, sharing news and views, speaking to my little phone, which I have been doing for 11 years now, just straight up from my heart, facts about what's happening here. May God bless you, and thank you for being a support for me, for lifting me up in prayers, for that little group of people who is sending financial blessings to me, with me not making $1 ever on any videos, on any blogs, on anything that I have done. I've never made a cent at all. I'm working volunteer, only living by donations from people who say you are a blessing to us. How can we be a blessing to you? I will actually attach the link to my GoFundMe, because that tells my whole testimony and story about who I am and how you can stand with Israel through my eyes, my ears, my mouth, my hands, my feet, for such a time as this here in the Holy Land. God bless you. Bye.